into the latest addition to the game in that Smolder. A champion that we mentioned is incredibly exciting. It's all about getting 225 stacks, and then you get that mini Elder buff.
And it's looking like from the rune setup here that this Smolder is going to head towards the more stereotypical build, which is that kind of Essence Reaver, semi-like caster AD carry build, very similar to what Ezreal used to actually be picking up. As Direwolves will 5-man stack. Everyone is here besides for TN. You can see Silent. If you walk into a bush with that champion level 1, it is an absolute disaster. So he's going to go back up towards the top lane. Udyr, we've already seen Bipanther in particular having some very creative level 1 plays to just harass the enemy jungler, steal some camps away, and make Lisa's life a living hell.
And I was just wondering if by TN revealing himself, that was a conscious decision to try and psych Direwolves out and think, hey, they're all fanned out in a standard 5-man formation. But they're not going to bite the bullet. They're not going to get baited by that in this occasion. It is just going to be Rivet that's going to reveal himself by the ward that TN planted, who's just going to try and zone him out. Eventually, the 4-mana Direwolves, their patience does pay off. They are going to go for their own. They are going to sweep and clear out with their zombie ward placed as well. And these two in the top are going to have a bit of a biff as they both lose a fair chunk of their health.
Very smart level 1 play here from the Direwolves. They basically have the strongest level 1 champion that you could have in every single role, so they'll be leveraging that priority to allow Lisa to get this level 1 invade. Now, a map split certainly is a nice thing to have when you do have that double AD carry bot lane, because it allows you to play so much more aggressively. You don't really have to worry about anything with the enemy jungler coming down and disrupting you. That being said, though, Benvy's looking at Lisa on the Raptor camp. The hook does land.
What a hook. Read him like a book right there. Dashed right into it and forced to burn the flash away right afterwards. Tried to punish the fact that Shern, no doubt, wants to rush to level 6 as quickly as he can, but with a nice little rotation from Benvy, read it well.
He loses flash, but crucially, he still will be able to get a triple buff here, so it's not the worst thing at the end of the day. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we saw an earlier trade of summoner spells as well. The Ghost being burnt for TN in favor of the flash for River, so a positive summoner spell trade there for the Udyr. And you can already see TN is taking full advantage of just how strong this champion is at the early stages of the game.
Certainly is. Both going to have a big old crack at it as he's going to shove the swave in, utilizing the much stronger AoE farm at the very get-go. But no doubt River, if the trades work in his favor as well, can certainly look to try and answer back, and even with his passive, take him down if it is going to be a crazy little tower dive to start things off with here. But to be expected in the spot lane, you would imagine that the Direwolves would reign supreme with their sort of early control, double-ranged, all that harass, Hail of Blades coming into effect. So it is going to be a case of Benvy biting the bullet, finding that right moment to hit the hook and guarantee the ignite.
But look at this red buff play here, Skimmy. You can see TN has roamed down here. He might be walking into Lisa, who, keep in mind, has no flash.
Has no flash, but isn't going to be scared by this play, as TN is forced to try and wrap around, but Kisei's here as well. Now, Emperor's forced to flash already, has been feared, has nothing left in the tank. He's just going to simply fall on down, and that is a classic Shenfire play. It could be a level 6 champion, but at level 3, he still gets first blood.
And how many times are teams going to get baited by low health Udyr? As you can see TN there really playing with Lisa, saying that he wants Empress to come up and try to secure the kill, pops that double W and just walks out right away. And you can see Empress has to commit the flash as well, so that summoner spell being down creates another bit of opportunity as the bot lane double sums out for Shinky.
Certainly are. Everything getting a little bit feisty right now as summoners really are becoming a bit of a necessity, really. There's so much aggression that can come out from these teams that Benvy, knowing that he's under all this ranged harass, doesn't really seem to care. They've got one target in mind, take down Limus. If we can't get him, go for Benvy instead. There's a lot of damage. They're going to go for the flash to try and get this kill in his face. With the last stretch of mana, Katsuri's able to find Benvy.
The ground zero bot lane get a little bit baited by Shinky's low HP bar. All the while, Katsuri is hitting them. And this is an Ezreal with 5 stacks of his passive, all Conqueror as well, fully stacked up. He does a lot of damage in these extended fights. So, I mean, yes, they get the initial summoner spell trade effectively going in their favor, but it will be a kill onto Katsuri, the man who we highlighted. It was so important for Direwolves to get ahead. Picks up his first kill of the game.
Phenomenal start. Certainly what Ezreal likes to see, right? Get online as quickly as they can, spike, and make sure that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with once these mid-game skirmishes start to take place. Obviously, it's been a bit of a hampered effect, though, given the fact that both your mid and jungle have lost their flash and are now getting ganked again. Benvy once again on a fantastic roam, causing so much pressure.
And it's so hard now for Empress to play this lane. No flash, and you can see the Orianna level 6 will be coming through fairly soon as well. So a Shockwave is certainly a real threat that he has to look out for. And Benvy once again on this Nautilus. That death timer there affording him the window to look mid, poke his head in, and sure you don't get a kill, but that priority to secure in mid lane is going to enable Schönfire to head up here and grab these grubs. All three looking to go over uncontested.
Really can do as he please right now, Schönfire. Obviously so much AoE and sustain, so he makes a light work of all three camps. And we'll take that down in a heartbeat. Just affords so much protection for the likes of both Kisei and Tien to continue to play so aggressively, knowing that the jungler is not too far away. And soon to head over to level 6, as he has this blue buff right now, is going to take a chance to just utilize Kisei's pressure to say, I can just steal away these raptors and make life even more difficult as Kisei goes for the tempo ult. And Emphis, I mean, he got ganked before, he's stuck around, he has no TP, he needs to get bailed out here by Lisa.
And what could Lisa really do though is Kisei is incredibly fast, has the phase rush and flash both available here, so likely we'll just proc those ones and walk out. Lisa just having to stare him down, and you can see how hard it is for this Graves to play. Graves is definitely not a champion who wants to play with his solo laners being shoved in. He needs to be aggressive, he needs to be pushing the pace, or else he's going to fall behind. And already you can see he's looking at this Raptor camp, but Benvy's read it once again. He's going to find him potentially. Play is called off in favor of heading back towards this bot lane. But looking at the jungle item skimming, you can see that Schönfire feeling pretty good right now, and Kisei has the wave permanently under that mid lane turret.
Certainly Siege as we transition back into the bot lane right now. Just out of range is Benvy from getting hit by that one, thankfully for his own health, but you can just see there is so much harass that makes life fairly difficult right now as Rivet somehow is so far past this tower. He's trying to shut down Tien. He hits the flash here, doesn't have that luxury, but he's got a ghost, so he is sprinting around this corner on the hunt in hot pursuit. And really, it feels like he is delaying the inevitable as the zombie form comes out, and he's got nothing to hit.
He creates some space with that flash, but ultimately, like you said, that ghost affording Tien way too much mobility. And crucially, Sion doesn't die in the wave, so he's not able to make any use of his passive, just goes down there and funnels a bit more gold into Tien, who is working his way towards Leandres, but the paranoia's out bot lane.
It is, the lights go out, the target is found, and the kill is secured. Fantastic turn of events onto Shinky there. No chance to survive, no barrier utilized, and no pressure afforded to them. 8 minutes in, it's a 1k lead for Ground Zero.
Really nice advantage of the summoner spell gap there in the bot lane. You could see an Ashe without flash. We see her getting bullied basically every time that summoner spell's down, and that will afford a window here for Ground Zero to open up towards this bot lane. The only lane they didn't have full control over is now looking to be in good stead with Smolder steadily working on his stacks, has those 43, so now has that access to a kind of AoE queue. As once again, top lane's trading, but you have to remember, any trade in the top lane, even if it's even, is losing if you're against the Nudir.
Yeah, it's a rough champion to deal with. It certainly does find a fair degree of success, be it trying to proxy the wave, which certainly looked like what River was trying to achieve. But the biggest sign of success for me would be the fact that Schön, his first ultimate, found that kill. He's 2-0, and now Kisei's looking to do the same. Drops that ult in the mid as Benvy flash passive hits him and makes sure it's easy pickings for Kisei to get that kill too.
A nice little shockwave to start off the play there from Kisei. 20 CS up now on this Orianna, and a kill in his back pocket as well. So feeling very confident playing against this Karma, who can be so oppressive against some of these mages. Solo lanes once again, I mentioned it before broadcast, they've been such an issue for Direwolves. Really has felt like they've just lost the game from the laning phase, and it looks to be a very similar state right now as River's quite low, does have the ulti, but Demolish is getting so much work done in this top lane. Yes, this is an Udyr into Sion matchup, but he's 2 levels up, he's 3 plates up, and he's dominating this lane.
He certainly is incredibly rich right now, will be Tien, and it might be a good performance for him to try and bounce back, right? In recent times, he certainly has been challenged. He no doubt has played it off in the interview, saying, well, it's relieving the pressure on the rest of my team elsewhere. I'm happy to soak it on up, but at the end of the day, it would no doubt feel really good to be powerful as the Udyr and to start things strong, which is what Direwolves are looking to try and do now in this bot lane as the hook goes out, but it's the interaction with Ezreal, which makes things quite nice. He jumps out of one thing, flashes out of the other as Schönfire jumps in with the ultimate. He turns their attention on towards Shinky, who does have that flash available, but it's just not going to be enough. AoE ultimates galore, getting flung left, right, and center, but no kill execute found just yet. Benvy locked underneath his tower. Stunned is Lisa, taking 3 turret shots. So he's dead. Kisei, no vision. Doesn't really matter. Schön gets the kill. The TP comes in late. And River's got nowhere to go.
A bit of a messy fight there from both sides. Schönfire commits very deep onto Katsuri, who does have the flash available, so he's able to create the distance and get away from that Nocturne. Ultimately, it is Kisei coming down, though. That is a difference maker, and a TP just very questionable from River there. Gives up so much top lane, and the fight was already over when he cast that one, so going to be a very long walk of shame back up towards this lane. The turret's already dead.
Yeah, turret's gone, as if it wasn't rich enough for TN beforehand, and he is simply living his best life right now. That top side of the Ground Zero comp is really holding things down, up by nearly 3,000 gold. And what, we're only 11 minutes in? 2 major items completed in a Hex Plate and the Liandry's.
Liandry's, so TN's opting for this more damage-oriented route, wants to be able to actually kill River. And looking at this Silence itemization, right, he's building his way towards a Titanic Hydra, not the typical Hollow Radiance or Unending Despair that you are used to seeing come out first from this champion. So going to be a very damage-oriented top lane for what is typically, you know, just a tank 1v1 and 4 Void Grubs going over. But let's take a look at this fight before. So you can see the Paranoia is up and available. They want to use it, and with that hook onto Katsuri forcing out the E, Schönfire thinks that's the go button. Crucially, there is a flash to come out, but he chains nicely onto Shinky, so he ends up going down, but right away, he's back into it.
Forget that one. We're back in the mid lane again. Out goes the ultimates galore. I mean, it's just too easy, really, for Ground Zero. They hit level 6. Their ultimates are there. We're forcing a fight. We're getting a kill, and we're getting so much more. They dismantle a bot lane of Direwolves, and they're just finding so many tower plates.
Is that Smolder are meant to sound like that as well? I swear it's the loudest soundbite by far in the game when that plays.
Hey, at one stage, I will use one of their ability names. It'll sound cringe, but we'll
Next time that ultimate comes out, I'm going to need you to say it, but you can see this bot lane will be the point of focus here for Ground Zero here. They've brought down Kisei, who is a very fed Orianna. And with the Dragon still available, not either team having gone and taken a single objective on that bottom side of the map so far. But it will just be these CS leads continuing to accrue in favor of Ground Zero. You can see the gold already 4,000 separating the teams here. And it begs the question, how are you going to get back into this? How are you pulling the trigger? Because outside of an Ash Arrow, you're going to really need to bring River down on this Silent to get plays. But at the moment, he's just forced to respond to whatever TN wants to do.
Certainly is, and there's a big reason why he's forced to do that right now is because TN has the most gold in the game. He's been farming up an absolute treat. No wonder he's gone towards that Liandry's, because he wants to really push the tempo, especially with that Dark Seal in hand. He wants all that juicy AP to be a real menace in this game. But not far behind him will be Schönfire. The top 4 then, led by Ground Zero. And a promising start then for Lemus on a champion that needs time to come online. To be in that top 4 really does put them in good stead.
And that's the nice thing about having these solo laners who are winning so heavily, right? Because you can just kind of take a back seat as a Smolder, catch waves where you need to, and allow your fed members of the team to really dictate the pace for the rest of the game. And it's a 13-minute Dragon, but it will be picked up nonetheless by Ground Zero here. A Hextech Dragon, quite a nice one to have. As you can see, River going on a bit of a journey there on the bot side of the map, just trying to proxy or get away from TN, who is so oppressive at this point in the game. But it will be the mid lane focus here. You can see that the Lucidity Boots being picked up for Schönfire means that this ultimate is going to have such a low cooldown combined with that Hex Plate. He's going to really be able to pull the trigger whenever he wants. And as we saw previously, even under your mid lane turret, you are not safe if you're the Direwolves.
Which is going to be brutal, because if a play happens and you flash, then the second time it happens, it is a guaranteed kill at that point. And whilst you can make an argument that with Emphas picking up the Malignants, those Mantra E shields are going to be nice, it's probably not going to be enough. There is just too much damage at this point. Ground Zero have certainly found themselves a very prime position. There is that combo. It's as easy as that. They're cooking in the kitchen. They're getting it done.
It's nasty there. Yeah, you have a Malignance, but we have an Orianna Nocturne ult, and it's such a hard combo to dodge. Emphas has the flash. You can see the reaction speed that you need, especially when you're kind of blinded by the Paranoia as well. Is incredibly hard to deal with, but this is a long lane, Skimmy. There's no ult for River. I wouldn't be surprised if TN wants to try to chase him down here.
Well, let's see. He's going to have a crack at things. Both, well, rather TN having no summon available to him, but I don't think it's going to turn from that position, as they are just going to have a slow biff down their HP bars. It's going to take a bit of time to really come to an end, as River is forced to flash. And realizing that I never win this trick. There's the ultimate, as Lemus screams out for his mum. And certainly needs it, because he's taking a fair bit of damage trying to defend this mid lane on his own.
That's the thing, he kills the wave though there. I liked, you kind of half said the name, I'll give you a pass on that one there, but nukes the wave there, make sure that the Direwolves can't use this window where his teammates are getting back on the map to get any push onto that mid lane turret. You can see that Kisei has kept that turret almost completely pristine, losing basically 0 health there. And Lemus just holding down this mid wave, stacking up ever so slowly, but still stacking nonetheless. And really, once you are getting towards those break points, there's so much scaling on the side of Ground Zero when you consider the fact that Lemus already has 125 stacks.
Yes, it does. Second evolution, that's when it gets exciting because you're now not too far away from that coveted 2-2-5 where that mini execute comes into play. And if you're strong by that point, then it is an absolute terror to try and deal with. You said already, with the Essence Reaver complete, you'd imagine they'd be working towards that Navori Quick Blades item as well. And by that point, the amount of ability haste you have, you really are a bit like an Ezreal, just shooting off spells left, right, and center.
I do wonder how the range will work and factor into the game as it goes on though, right? Because Ezreal obviously able to deal quite nicely with Smolder. That Q range isn't going to be able to be enough from Lemus if Katsuri is playing at his maximum range and throwing out those Qs. But right now, it really seems like Lemus can play at whatever range he wants. He has his teammates to back him up. And here's Schönfire with that Herald in the mid lane. You can see Kisei hovering in the area as well. To have that Shockwave Paranoia combo online, I think they're going to look for a second charge as well here, Skimmy.
Would have put it past them. It's the 7-0 top side right now, so one tower falls on down, the second charge collides, and they don't have 5 stacks for the Void Grubs, but it doesn't really matter, because they summon an army of Void Mites when that Herald collapses, and that is a successful siege in the mid lane, which really they can't do much about Direwolves, because they had to respect the wombo combo that Ground Zero have.
And look at their 4 members, right? Not a single one of them is anywhere close to being tanky. River, the only one who can actually stand and start that fight by running in, but it looks like they want to catch this Scion up towards the top lane. He has the ult, but there's 3 members of Ground Zero in the area.
Waited a fair bit of time to try and keep Direwolves guessing for the meantime. His old mate here is just going to drift out inside their base, pay a quick visit to Benvi, who says, "What are you doing here? This is not where you belong." And he's going to go for the TP and say, "You can't do much about this." Oh, can you? You burn the ult, you interrupt the TP, and now River is really confused. Where do I go now? Back to the base.
Look, if there's one character you don't want to stand next to and channel and teleport, it is the Nautilus. Basically, every single ability able to stop you, including his auto attacks there. So it will result in River going down. I guess a little saving grace there is the fact that he does manage to pick up a fair amount at that mid wave and top wave. Kind of a double proxy going on there. So as the Bouse would say, it's a good death. But now, you know, 6,000 gold is the lead in favor of Ground Zero. You can see the Navori Quick Blades coming online here for Lemus. And a death cap in the works for Kisei, so we're just moments away from a very strong spike out of these 2 carries for Ground Zero.
Certainly are, and that's going to be terrifying because the early and mid game have certainly been dominated by them. So if we do reach that late game position where you can start to bring into question some of those range mismatches, my biggest question is who's actually going to deal with these tanks on Ground Zero, because for Direwolves, you're really hoping that, you know, Lisa would have got a little bit further ahead. Anything on the Youmu's right now, not strong enough to really blast through anybody like, say, Tien, for example. A big backline TP coming in right now from that man. Tien now flanking on, the lights go out, they have no idea what to do. You're waiting for that shockwave, but it finds success, instantly removing Lisa from the fight. Right by the Dragon Pit is what they're going for, and it's looking like a whitewash here. Ground Zero have already found 2. They're hunting for more as Schönfire is limping away, but a Chew comes out. He sneezes on the clone of River, who becomes the zombie, sent back to the fountain, and all they lose is a Nautilus.
There it is. It's a nice little chase down from Direwolves to get the initial kill onto Benvi. But once the other members of Ground Zero show up, you can just see that this gold gap, this item gap, really starting to come into effect. The Shockwave Paranoia combo literally one-shots Lisa. As we can take a look again, Benvi just a little bit caught out here. The hook is kind of the go signal here because they realize that he can't turn around the play instantly. So Lisa feels confident going forwards here and does get the initial kill. But look at that damage. I mean, he actually just gets one shot.
He certainly does, and you were saying this is before death cap, so imagine what it's like after.
Yeah, completely just wash after this fight. You can see Tien just unkillable. Even in the face of Katsuri and Empress, they don't have anywhere near enough damage to be able to take this Udyr down. And that will result in a nice little dragon take off the back of it. Here's Shinky.
They want Lemus. Can they fight it? Well, certainly they're going to go try and fight it in there. Occasion right inside the bush goes Lemus, even with the lights out. He has one target of mine, dashing back across, hunting for Benvi, and a double is found by the Graves. The TP is not enough. Schönfire is going to be rooted by the Karma W. And it's a triple for Lisa right as the Baron spawns.
Yeah, the Baron's spawning right now, and there is no Shockwave in the hands of Orianna. No TP on Tien as well, so this could have been the turning point for the Direwolves. They're burning it down quite quickly. They have all this Graves damage. What can Kisei do to try to stop this?
Can he defend in this 1v4? They're down 7,000 gold, the Direwolves, but this Baron is taking an age to fall on down. River might just die as he receives the shield. The Baron has to be reset. Tien is already here with the Ghost and the Blast Code, and considering, would I dare engage the 1v4 Dreams? But decides to show a little bit of discipline.
That could have been disastrous for Ground Zero here. You can see how this play unfolds from the start. Shinky just catching out Lemus on the back end of that play, and Lisa dashing over that wall, taking down this Smolder. And then really, where is your damage to actually be able to kill this Graves? Lisa running unchecked in this fight. And the TP in from Empress to secure the third kill. Despite the flash coming through, it's a very nice 3 kills picked up for the Direwolves.
Certainly is. It's a good start, but they certainly need a few more situations like that to be presented to themselves that they can take full effect in, because as I mentioned before, already down so much gold. You can see just how hard it is to try and pick apart anybody. The bounties, they are certainly starting to add up, be it objective and champions. And still with a few more to be acquired in both the Orianna and the Udyr, there is gold on the table. Well, speaking of that then, as a result, Lisa does creep his way into that top 4 discussion, the most fed member now on the Direwolves. Not a bad place to be for the Graves. You certainly want to be aggressive, as you mentioned, but with the collector picked up, he's starting to hope that they can find a few more.
Where is River going? It feels like every time we pan to his ultimate, he's going for a bit of a journey, but really, like you said, it is going to be on Lisa now. With all the gold, he has managed to pick up that collector and Youmuu's, but here comes the paranoia.
The ult goes out, the killer's there, and it's just a little bit too easy. You just don't have any time to respond, especially as an immobile champion like Ashe.
And that was only the paranoia needing to be committed there, so still a lot of tools if Ground Zero did want to turn. And it looks like the Baron will be in their sights now. They've brought Tien up, and there's no Scion ult from River, so without that Ashe arrow coming through, without that Scion, you really are losing out on a lot of engaged tools, but Kisei's looking for a pick.
You are expecting that Kisei would look to try and entertain the idea of a zoning shockwave, if not a one-shot potential. Hook goes out as the Hex Flash across the wall comes into effect. It's completely zoned is this Baron. It's a gone, done deal. Picked up here by Ground Zero.
What can you even do here as Lisa will get hooked and just wiped off the face of the map there with that shockwave. You can see this Orianna is just so threatening. Not a single member from Direwolves is able to actually walk up and face check that Baron because they're scared of taking the shockwave. And you can see right there what that'll do as mid lane Bentley's been caught.
They go for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but instantly the turnaround is phenomenal from Ground Zero. They say, how dare you try and do a play like that? We have so much more damage than you. And also, we have very tanky members. Nobody falling from the side of Ground Zero. River went for the split push tactic, and that has backfired as well. And now this Baron Siege is guaranteeing that at least they take the mid and head.
River gets his TP cancelled there. You could see Tien was hunting for him, which stopped that play from coming through in the mid lane. But even now with Direwolves trying to pull the trigger, they don't have the damage to be able to get through even Benvy on this Nautilus. And like you said, it will be the inhibitors in their sight now. They do have the shockwave. Still on cooldown for the time being, but will be up very shortly. So they're looking to crack this one while the death times are still on for the Direwolves.
They certainly are. 228 stacks now does Lemus have, so those champions get low enough. You can see Lisa with that little L to execute frame. That's what you're hoping for right now, that these fights get close enough that he can literally just burn them all alive. But right now he's going to keep into consideration that Katsuri is still incredibly strong. As instantly a double is found there by Kisei. In drives River, but it looks to be a little bit too late as he flashes on top of Benvy's head. He receives the shield from the Orianna. He's got his own passive shield from his W, and he's going to try and run away from that clone of a side. Inside the base is Emphis, stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I deal with Tien? Do I deal with these minions? What is the bigger factor right now? As Direwolves members are scattered and Ground Zero just re-enter the base.
I'm flagging that one as the early play of the day there as Shenfire pops the paranoia here. Gets on towards Katsuri.
Katsuri, can he get one? Yes! It makes it a 1-4, and it's a silver lining for what has been a fairly one-sided affair here. Tien still with the perfect KDA, sitting 4-0-3. He's immune. He is literally immune to all the damage that 3 members of Direwolves are threatening him with. He looks at Lisa. Lisa falls over. The execute coming there from that scorching breath of the Smolder. It proved to be far too strong as he calls for his mummy again. And they say it's time to go to game 2 as they smash it in 25 minutes.
They're busting out the new picks from Ground Zero, but